Greetings, I'm Professor K, and in this short video presentation we're going to see how we go about editing or adding DNS server IP addresses inside of our DHCP server scope options. So I'm currently logged on to DC1 running server 2019, and this is also my DHCP server. So we can go over here to Tools and we can go to DHCP from the context menu. Go ahead and make this full screen. Move over this window just a little bit. We'll go ahead and expand the name of our DHCP server. We'll expand IP version 4. And so under IP version 4, we have our actual scope. And if I expand this, you'll see that we have a container down here called Scope Options. Let's go ahead and open that up. And over here in the right window pane, you'll see that we have a couple of options that we've already configured. One is for our default gateway or our router, and the other one is for our DNS servers. Now if I try to go in here and modify the DNS servers that are currently being handed out from this scope up inside of my DHCP server, we get an error message, and it says only scope options can be configured here. To configure server options, select the server option mode and choose configure options. So if we go down here to server, you'll see that we have those options available to us as well. So now if I double click on my DNS servers, you'll see that I get the server options properties dialog box. And you'll notice that currently underneath the server options there is a checkbox for handing out DNS server information. Currently I only have one DNS server available to hand out to my clients. But here I can either modify the current DNS IP address or I can add in additional DNS server IP addresses. Now you might want to think about that, because if this DNS server goes down, then there's no way for the clients to be able to resolve a name to an IP address. So it's important that you think about handing out additional DNS server IPs to your clients. Now this might just be, for instance, the open IP address. Now this could be just Open DNS. It could be Google DNS. It could be the IP address of the DNS server that is being provided to you by your internet provider. Regardless, you just have to type in the IP address here and then click Add. Now that would make sense in most networks, because there would be a redundant DNS server or a secondary DNS server running on your network. You wouldn't have just one DNS server. So if I had a replica domain controller running on my network, there's a very high probability that I'm going to have DNS running on that machine as my secondary DNS. So I want to make sure I go ahead and hand out that information up inside of my scope options. So now we just have to say apply and say OK, and now you'll note that we have two DNS servers listed underneath the DNS server option. And so that's going to conclude this short video presentation on how we go about modifying or adding a DNS server up inside of our scope options in DHCP for Windows Server 2019. So if you have any questions or concerns about any of the material that was covered in this short video presentation, please don't hesitate to reach out and contact your instructor, and I'll see you in my next video.